Come, let us prepare, make some good profits today. Market left us big clues here. Very important level you remember from yesterday's video. And orange, you see it, still holding up right there. There are very key liquidity now that's building up. I want to talk about that. It's a Friday, so just be more careful tomorrow. Pay very close attention to these levels. Still a couple of gaps here. I want to talk about them, how they can get filled, if they do get filled. But you have to first look out for these very key levels. And a big part of that is to understand the intraday algorithms, because there are very few algorithms here, very key ones. I want to talk about that. And the first one was this orange and magenta. Just take a look. This was at 10:06. 10:06 was here. 10:06 a.m. Just see it for yourself, the timestamp. And this was important because once you're able to identify the magenta right there, this becomes very straightforward. Just take a look for yourself. Penny perfect orange once we identified it, and building the liquidity on the way down, giving us that beautiful move all the way down there. And this is very important because in the 30-minute chart, this was also a very important move. Magenta, so you got to be very patient, wait for structure, trader structure demands right there. And thereafter you see how magenta continued to hold, build liquidity here. So this becomes quite important. I want to talk a little bit about that. Look at that, how penny perfect that is. And also here, penny perfect. This is important, right? And we identified this wedge here. I told you about this, so this is quite important as well. You see how we started wedging near to end of day. So these are very important clues I want you to pay close attention to before we carry on for tomorrow. So where do we go from here? Very importantly, you see how the orange starting to hold here, and we start to retest and build more liquidity of this blue liquidity here. Now, ideally, market build a little bit more liquidity before it starts heading down. You want to see that orange seller. Yeah, now you see finally we have a red day, and as I told you, if you want to see the seller appear, it has to be this orange seller. And you see it happen today. It's a little stronger than usual actually. Some green selling is starting to appear as well, and this green is important because if it wants to break out of ranges, it has to be through this green. There is a very important level here. Don't forget your 5-day moving average. This wants to break out of this orange. Ideally it does it early, but there are a few very key levels here. Let me just run through them very quickly if this wants to continue heading down. First is this gap here, right? You want this gap to be filled, you have to wait for this blue algorithm here. Now, if the market builds more liquidity here, this will be ideal. In the 1-minute chart, I want you to see it's how the magenta is building liquidity here. Right, so market may take some time, rebuild some liquidity before it starts pushing down. 730 yellow there, so just be more mindful about this level. Pay close attention to that. So at this point here, pay close attention to this blue. See if market builds a little bit more liquidity if it wants to grab this gap here. Once it grabs this gap, there is another liquidity here with the blue and the 724 yellow. As I talked about, this is a very important level, 724 yellow. By then your 5-day will already come close to that blue and would have broken this orange. Now you see, if you want this to be selling, you want to see it selling in the orange. So pay close attention to that. It wants to grab more liquidity on the way down. So just be more mindful about the 724 yellow level. That will be quite important. And I talked about that 20-day moving average. Yeah, the very key liquidity, 20-day moving average will probably want to come close to this range and this blue algorithm. And if there's a large dump to break the range, it must come through here. 20-day moving average and 5-day will already turn into some sort of resistance, trending down right there. So I talked about all that in yesterday's video and the video prior to that. So please take some time to watch that, chain up the thought process, and also develop your trading brain. Most importantly, understanding the context so you can understand a little bit more what I'm trying to talk about. Now, very importantly, there is a very key liquidity here as well. And this pink, you see how the pink is controlling the liquidity here. This is important, right? Because if the market wants to head up, let the cups close at that 732. You see that pink building liquidity here. You will not miss it. it will grab more liquidity. 732 pink level here, and you want to see it break out of that orange right there. So let it close the cup here, 732 pink, and building more liquidity on the way up if it wants to break up. Now this point here, you want to wait for cups close. On the pink here, you see there is liquidity here. Wait for cups to close. If it wants to grab the liquidity, it will. So just be patient. Allow the market to first reclaim this level if it wants to. Otherwise, you want to see this very beautiful liquidity. If we do have the good fortune of having a 5-day retest on Friday tomorrow, look out for that 730 as well. If we do retest a 5-day moving average, you see it like that. Yes, so very clearly on the 1 minute, so on the 30-minute chart, this is what you will probably see. So retest a very key level. If we do close the gap, grab liquidity, there is very beautiful bullish liquidity here as well. Likewise, it will break the orange as well as this middle band green that you see here. So once again, on the 1 minute chart, this will be the liquidity. So just pay close attention. There are a few key liquidity levels. As always, level by level, algorithm by algorithm. Don't be forgetting to be finding profits in the charts. It truly doesn't matter where the charts are going. This is a very small range, as you know. When you're day trading, the range is pretty small compared to the grand scheme of things, isn't it? So don't be too concerned where this is going. Focus on finding profits in the charts, and you can see plenty of profits to be found using the algorithms. If you can identify them, this becomes very, very easy for you to be patient and wait for. Once again, this was identified at 10:06. See it for yourself. Thank you very much for watching. See you closer to opening.